Hello, everybody, and welcome back into another post-game show here on the Hockey Writers YouTube channel and covering the St. Louis Blues Colorado Avalanche series. Joined in by Ethan Carter. It was a minute away from the Blues getting eliminated and the Colorado Avalanche moving on to the Western Conference Final, but Robert Thomas goes and ties the game with less than a minute to go after them coming back from a 3-0 deficit. Tarasenko got it going. Thomas scored the second one. Falk tied it up. And then, of course, Thomas tied it up again after MacKinnon scored that ridiculous, probably the best goal of the playoffs at this point. Ethan, how's it going after that game? And what are your takeaways from this craziness that was game 4 or game 5?
Yeah, probably one of the most shocking Blues wins I've ever seen. Like, I had no expectation of them winning this game, especially when they go down 3-0 early in the second period. And then they just didn't see it, just felt like it was over. And the Avalanche have been a team knocking on the door of getting out of the second round for a while. And they're a team that is, I would say the last 3 years, they've been a top 3 team in the league, maybe 4 years if you want to go back that far. But obviously the series isn't over, but it certainly felt like the Avalanche were going to end it tonight. And really, they just they wasted a great performance from Nathan MacKinnon, who was just unbelievable tonight.
Yeah, he was on fire. Like right from first time he got the puck, it looks like he was just on a mission to win this game himself, and he almost did. You know, that goal, that his hat trick goal was, like I said, probably the best goal I've seen in the playoffs, and end to end. With his speed and his skill, it's pretty amazing to see both Nathan MacKinnon and Connor McDavid in these playoffs. It's insane. So I mean, yeah, they did waste that after going ahead 3-0, but give the Blues a whole ton of credit. They grounded out, tied it up, and then right at the end, Thomas tying it too. The guys that we've been talking about all series long about having to step up. Thomas and Tarasenko were 2 of the guys, and they brought it tonight. What do you think of their performance?
Yeah, Robert Thomas needed this. He didn't have any points in this series. He wasn't that good in the Minnesota series. It just doesn't look like himself. I mean, he was a 20-goal scorer for a guy who's a primary passer. He's got a much better shot than I think he thinks, and he doesn't shoot it as much as he should. And he woke up, had 6 shots tonight, 2 goals. And then Tarasenko, he was knocking on the door in that game 3 with a ton of shots and a ton of good chances. And he gets a goal and an assist as well tonight. So both of them woke up. And I think if you look further with other Blues players that were 20 goal scorers that have struggled in these playoffs, you look at Braden Shin, you look at Ivan Barbashev. Those guys have to step up in the next game. And I would look for maybe Craig Berube to be like, okay, let's move Barbashev down to the 4th line and throw Toropchenko up there, because Toropchenko was fantastic.
I was about to mention him.
And assist.
Toropchenko's really good.
Earned an assist. The thing with him is it's very rare to have that size and that skating ability. Like, he is a phenomenal skater. And I think if he puts it together, I think he's already in the opening night lineup. Probably. It's probably going to be a night game next season for the Blues, but he's been tremendous, and he was really, really good all night. He was probably one of the most consistent players for the Blues in this entire game, especially when they were down 3-0, the forechecking, the skating. He's doing it all for them right now, and he's exactly what you expect on the 4th line.
Yeah, and then the overtime winner. It seems like these playoffs you can't predict who's going to score overtime winners. We have Manson, Ian Cole, Tyler Bozak, who I don't think was very noticeable throughout the game, and he scores the overtime winner. So, you can't predict the guys that are going to score it right now. But what do you think? Bozak, he doesn't play a lot, but had a pretty good shot in his game winner. And what do you think about Bozak in this game? Was that the only time you really noticed him in the game, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's fair to say. 7 minutes. I think he played a little over 7 minutes. He's a really good leader, and he's a veteran, and he plays on the 4th line. Him and Toropchenko have been the only 2 guys on that fourth line when they were going 11-7. They went back to 12-6 tonight with Scandella coming back in. They put Nathan Walker on that fourth line. I think Bozak's just like a perfect fourth line center at this stage in his career. And he's been that for the Blues for the most part. He was a third line center in 19. And then ever since then, he's kind of just been going down to the fourth line. But I don't think there's any regret with the Blues originally signing him in the summer of 18 or re-signing him for this season. He's still got a little bit left in the tank, and it's always nice to see a guy like that get rewarded. He doesn't play a lot of minutes. He doesn't produce a lot of offense. He just makes the right plays in terms of forechecking, dumping the puck in, making, simple defensive stick checks, that kind of stuff. That's what he does best, and it's nice to see. And like you said, there's literally no predicting who's going to score in overtime. Like Manson scoring, Ian Cole, like you said, it doesn't make any sense. And that's why the Bucci overtime challenge just keeps getting harder.
Yeah. Sure. I don't, like I say, I don't know who would have picked any of these guys to score overtime winners in this. If you did, you'd probably win a lot of money. Yeah. So, I mean, looking at the goaltending, I mean, Binnington going down, Husso, he was okay in this game. I mean, he did allow the 3. What do you think about him? And, does he have to be better? Of course, he'd have to be better in the next game to keep this going. What did you think of him in this game?
Yeah, I think it was a little uneven for him. Early, the Blues were kind of getting bombarded. He had to make some big saves, and he was up to the challenge for the most part. But he did let a few in. He has let a few in this series where you're like, you probably should make that save, and he knows that. Obviously, Binnington was playing at a much higher level than he was, but that's just is what it is at that point, because Husso was better throughout the entire regular season, and Berube trusted him. He could have easily been like, you know what, I haven't liked what I've seen. And when Charlie Lindgren, who's now the backup with the Binnington injury, when he was here, he went 5-0 and had like a 960 save percentage. Yeah. So you could throw him in there, see what happens. But Berube trusts his guy, and I thought Husso was good enough to get the win, as they did win. But he did make some big key saves in late parts of the game, and that's kind of what you're going to get. I think the main focus of the Blues should just be scoring goals, not trying to turn this into a track meet with Colorado because they don't have the speed, but just if the Blues are going to score 4 to 5 goals, they have a chance to win. Because I think Husso has been able to make big saves in late stages of the game. And the MacKinnon goal, the third one, was just like, I don't think anybody's stopping that. I know that, maybe Husso could maybe get a elbow on it. It's just not going to happen. He chipped it over him. I don't really see why people were on Twitter saying stuff about that. And the other thing with that goal is a lot of people pointing about Nick Leddy. Oh, how does he let that happen? Why did the Blues bring him in? There's no defenseman on earth that's going to stop that play. I mean, it's too much. He's too fast. And I mean, Husso overall though, he's been solid enough. And I think he will perform a little bit better moving forward.
Yeah, like I say, MacKinnon's that goal is probably going to go in on most goaltenders. I mean, and he's going to beat most defensemen. I mean, it's just like he went from 0 to 60 in like no time at all. And that's why I say it's like we're having in these playoffs, we got 2 of the fastest players in the NHL. In different series right now, but potentially could play against each other if, this series goes to Colorado's way. But, Blues aren't going away. And that's what they showed in this game. They didn't lie down and say, okay, it's 3-0. We're going to go home. They brought it back and ended up bringing it back to St. Louis. So now they're back home. And what do they have to do in the next game to kind of bring this to a game 7 and, come back you have to win in Colorado again to win this series ultimately, but what do they have to do to get to that point?
I think the big thing, and this will probably be the theme of my takeaways article, is that they have to carry some of the momentum and confidence that they got in this game, because they've shown, I mean, they've won both games they've won have been at Colorado. So they're capable of winning in Colorado. Now they're going to take care of business at home, because game 3, when they came out, they looked like they were going to do the same thing they did to them in game 2. And then obviously things changed, and then the series started to slip. They brought it back tonight and were able to come back and win. And I think the other key is going to be, as much as Colorado is going to jump on them, because I think Colorado will come out flying again in game 6, the Blues have to figure out a way, even if you give up the first goal, you can't give up the second. because I don't see the Blues coming back from a multi-goal deficit like that again. I think Colorado is going to make the necessary adjustments to figure out how to not let that happen. I think that's the difference between this series and the Minnesota series, that Minnesota couldn't do that, when I think Colorado can. So they're going to have to get more timely saves from Husso early in games instead of late in games. You'd like it for both, but he's been doing it late in games more so in the recent games than early in games. But they just got to carry some of that momentum, some of that confidence. And this is a veteran team. They know what they need to do to win. And I think that they can come out and give Colorado a fight. And the fact that they've taken this to 6 is stunning to me, just because of the way the series was trending.
Yeah.
But that's why we love the NHL playoffs. You never know what's going to happen. Like I would not be surprised at all if the Calgary Edmonton series went 7 games. I would not be surprised at all. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. And I mean, no lead is safe in these playoffs, it seems. And that just is this series, and the Calgary and Edmonton one too. I mean, there's no lead that's safe in that one either. So they have to stop MacKinnon as well. I mean, he's been on fire. I don't know if you can limit his chances, and that's same thing with McDavid and in the Edmonton series too. You can't stop them completely, but you can limit how many chances they get. And McKinnon's he'll build off this, I'm sure. I mean, he's probably angry that goal wasn't the winner, but he had a hell of a performance, and it's just great to watch these guys play. And that's part of the beauty of it, of watching both McDavid and MacKinnon in these playoffs has been pretty special. So we'll see what happens in the next game. And this series has gotten really exciting. I mean, this game, like I said before recording, is probably the most exciting game of this series by far. So
no doubt.
It's really good to watch, and we'll see if another one comes up in game 6. And we'll see what happens. And so thanks, Ethan, for coming on Postgame Show. We'll see you next time. And so from Ethan, this is Matthew Zator, and we will see you in the next Postgame Show on the YouTube channel here.